Morning, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic Global Broker session. We are so excited to have you here on one of the first Mondays of July. It's wild how we're already halfway through the summer. I'm sure you guys are feeling the heat and humidity. Maybe you're out somewhere else, maybe not in Florida right now, but I hope you guys are enjoying it and having a great summer. Hope you had a nice 4th of July. We are here and we are going to get started about 1 minute here with a fantastic global partner broker that we have, and we'll give a full proper introduction in a second. But if this is your first global session, welcome in. We are really excited to have you here. These are always very insightful, a lot of fun. You get to meet our partner brokers and really get a flavor from around the world every month, which is really great. And Denise Talboy does an amazing job setting all these up. But if you guys have any questions or comments throughout this, feel free just to type them right there in the chat box. That is open to you. You're welcome to ask any questions, add any comments. We'll make sure to ask our speakers live while we're on today. If there's any questions that we don't have a chance to address today, you are more than welcome to reach out to Denise Talboy. Send a quick email to Denise, and she and her team will make sure to get all of that answered and help connect you with anybody that you may need help with. So Jenny, thank you there in the chat. You've woken up the chat, as I like to say, with a good morning, everyone. That's good. That's the energy we like here. That's a good sign to start off with. So it is about 10:02. So we will get rocking and rolling here. So again, for everybody joining on, thank you so much for joining our first global broker session of the month of July. We are going to have a really insightful and exciting conversation for you today, a place that is really near and dear to so many of us, and you're going to have a really great experience. So I would like to pass it over to Denise Talboy. And Denise, as I said, she wears all the hats. She does an amazing job, has an amazing team. If you've ever done an outgoing referral, an incoming referral, you've worked with Denise and the team, and they're just absolute pros, and they have a good time as well. So Denise, thank you for being here. Thank you for coordinating all of these. I'll hand it over to you, and you can help us know who we're going to be joined with this morning.
I am thrilled to see our friends at Keys Bahamas Realty. We always laugh about our names. Kiara, you're more than welcome to tell a story about your company name and how you came up with it. But I love highlighting our partner brokers, especially those in the Latin America and Caribbean region. So there's a lot of information coming your way. So I want to welcome and introduce Kiara and her team. Chevy's on as well. Welcome to the Kais family. We have a great list of agents that are here to that are here to teach us and give us more information on different parts of the Bahamas. We've already done referrals back and forth with them. So Kiara, please take over.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Happy to be here. Kais is easily probably my favorite company to work with when it comes to lead and area and luxury portfolio. Probably in general, actually, because Denise is very fun. And I always get the bumper at the different conferences and everything. Always fun, especially the first night, the first happy hour that happens at the conferences. Great times. So yeah, we're Keys Bahamas Realty. We're your affiliates for the Bahamas as well as Bahamas Realty. Love them too. But we service all of the islands. We don't have full-time offices on each island. However, our agents do fly back and forth whenever necessary and whenever we need to. Keys, surprisingly, not a direct affiliate of Kai's. It came from my name, basically. My mother, who I think is on the call, if I'm not mistaken, you might see Donna.
Nice.
Yeah. Always known as Key. And so being very vain is like, oh, Keys Bahamas, that works. Also started the company when I was 23, so I didn't really put much thought into it, but it worked out well.
It worked out well.
Yeah. So we're, like I said, started, next March will make us 10 years old. So I'm
Wow.
forward to it. Denise needs to come over to our party.
I know, I do.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here today. We're going to present on the Bahamas, what's happening, what developments are happening. You're going to hear a lot from Chevy Edwards as well, who's one of our full-time agents in Nassau. And I'll give a rough overview of everything that's going on in real estate, what's affecting our property values, as well as what are the benefits for purchasing and owning here. And yes, foreign nationals are absolutely allowed to own Bahamian real estate. So
Awesome.
yeah, completely. You can buy just as we would buy as well.
That's great.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you. Whenever you'd like, you're welcome to share your screen as well. We can't see that just yet.
Completely forgot. Thank you
All
so
good. All good. Absolutely.
That's why we have Stephen.
yeah. I love you
He
guys.
reminds us all on what our jobs are.
Love it. Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. We got
Yeah.
it now.
Perfect. So the Bahamas Advantage, real estate, residency, and returns. Someone looks comfy. So, yeah. So thanks again. Basically, this is a rough breakdown of what we're going to cover today. It sounds very hectic, however, I'll keep it moving. We're going to touch on the different lifestyles with the different islands, what's happening in the market, the different benefits, quick overview on the purchasing process, and different opportunities that you and your clients can take advantage of in the country. So just a quick overview, because a lot of persons surprisingly don't realize that the Bahamas is actually a chain of islands, not just one. So we have officially over 700 islands and keys. However, it's just about 30 that are the main inhabited ones. 13 are major islands, and then you have a ton of different keys that are either privately owned or still owned by the government, or different entities have purchased them. So think Disney, Carnival. I think someone has Half Moon Key. I can't remember who, I always get them mixed up. Royal Caribbean also owns a key here as well. So you'll have major corporate entities that will purchase keys here and be able to subsidize their businesses as well as take advantage of a lot of tax advantages. So we've got about 400,000 persons throughout the country. As you can see, English is our first language. We were originally British, which it makes it very easy for non-Bahamian clients, Americans, Europeans, one language, very simple, as well as you have a very large expat community too. So if you're walking down the street, you might hear someone speaking Creole, you might hear someone speaking Spanish, Mandarin, Dutch as well.
Mhm.
A lot of Dutch, a lot of German. So you'll hear it's a large mix, mainly because during the probably 70s and 80s, we had a huge influx of foreign teachers, resort owners, persons came in on a lot of chefs came in on the different cruise lines and just stayed. And it was very relaxed immigration policies back then. They came here, started families, and then just built their businesses from there. And we like that because it kicked off our economy, which as of last year, we hit about 13 billion, which doesn't sound big in comparison to the US. However, for a nation with like 400,000 people, it's quite large. And that is 1 to 1. We are pegged with the US dollar, so it is very even. You can bring US monies here and use it just as you would a Bahamian dollar. And then when you're running last minute back to the airport, you just stop into a restaurant and be like, hey, can you give me US money? Because you can't use the Bahamian dollar in the US, but you can use it vice versa. And like I said, mainly our economy is based off persons taking advantage of no income tax, no capital gains, inheritance, corporate taxes, none of that, which is really why persons come here to really build on the wealth that they've accumulated elsewhere and kind of use it as a tax haven. Even with the additional laws and compliance that we've had to do in recent years, it's still a huge tax haven, especially for the Americans. So I'm going to touch on the different lifestyles and island profiles that you might feel, just because when persons are referring different clients, the first thing we'll ask them, well, what's your client into? What are they looking for? Are they looking for something that feels like Miami, but a better price point? Are they wanting a ton of nightlife? Are they wanting something where they can walk for 2 miles and not see anyone? Or do they want to know everything that's happening? So when you have everything that's happening, you're really only looking at Nassau, or New Providence, which is the capital city. That's our real estate, high-end real estate, the entire business hub, business community, everything is there. And all of the major corporate entities, their heads will usually be in New Providence or Nassau. Um, Atlantis, you might have heard of, Bahamas, Paradise Island, Albany, all of those huge resorts, the mega resorts, Nassau. So when you look at that skyline, like that's a shot of Albany right there as well. You'll know it by like the honeycomb style. That's where you're gonna find it. You're gonna find the royal blue, which is a huge huge golf course. That's what you're looking at. When you're wanting to kind of step away, still have all of the luxuries of full-on city, but still want to have that like island feel, a little bit slower pace, you're gonna come to Grand Bahama. That's our basically our the second major island, but the second city, Freeport, is in Grand Bahama. You might know it for it being the true tax haven of the country because we also do not have property taxes in the city of Freeport. So when you're looking at carrying costs, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on average, our version of property taxes is service charges, and the average is about like $500 for the year. So very different price point and costs in Grand Bahama and in the city of Freeport. But still in the city of Freeport, you'll still have the waterfront homes. You still have all the fun and amenities. It's not, you're not living in huts or anything. You are still enjoying the luxuries of similar, more probably more built than the Florida Keys, but when you land, it will feel similar. The airports are basically the same. The one little building, yeah, same thing in Freeport. And then when you're getting one step further into that island living, you've got the Abaco, so huge for boating communities, known for Treasure Key. You have some big major developments coming in as well. Montage Key, what's going to set, they're on pace to set like a different level of high-end real estate, and they're going to actually probably be the closest to the type of like high-end real estate you might see in maybe like Bal Harbour or something like that in the US. They're really up in the ante. They're spending a lot of money in Abaco right now. And then everybody knows Bimini, especially the Floridians, because it's the closest island to Florida. You can be back and forth within like 2 hours, really. Just off the coast, everybody knows Bimini for either Resorts World Bimini or Bimini Big Game Club. If any of your clients fish and they're in the Florida area or even straight up the eastern coast, they've probably been to Bimini Big Game Club. When you see people going out to catch those big tunas or marlins, things like that, they're going to Bimini Big Game Club. It, it's even jarring for us as Bahamians when we go there because Bimini is right on the Atlantic Ocean. So you have that big fall off of like 60 feet if you're right at the beach. You just see it go dark like Jaws. It's charming even for me, and I grew up on the water, but great hot spot. And I think the last deal did in Bimini was actually a referral from leading RE Smith and Associates out of Tampa. Super cool couple. They closed on a deal there at 1.45. Yeah. Yeah. Sweet, sweet couple. They come back and forth on the boats and they just have fun, super relaxed. There's nothing to do in Bimini outside of fish and drink and go to the casino. That's it. Very relaxed. And next up, you've got the Exumas, which is celeb studded. You can go there for a random weekend. You'll probably bump into someone who's either been in a movie or has some type of record deal. That's Exuma. That's what people like. That's where, if it's wintertime or like the yachting season, like during the summertime, that's our version of St. Bart's. That's the less expensive St. Bart's. Major developments there would be the Grand Isle Resort and Residences and February Point. Love it. Uh, February Point, a bit more of a colonial vibe. Great people there too. And because it's a smaller island, you also will have where it's a strong expat community. And I say expat, but everyone's kind of intermingled. But again, everyone kind of knows each other, especially on the out islands, just because it's so much smaller. For context, out of the 400,000 people in the country, 350,000 are in Nassau, 40, I would say 30, they say 40, but 40,000 are in Grand Bahama or in Freeport. The rest are scattered around the island, so it's not a ton of people in the out islands. And then you have Eleuthera and Harbor Island, which everybody knows for the pink sand beaches. That's where you're headed. So Eleuthera, again, another step into super island life, very relaxed. You could be here for a week and not have to see anybody outside of the airport. It's not many people at all. Again, very popular destination too, out of Fort Lauderdale, out of the Northeast as well, and Texas, surprisingly. a lot of inquiries coming out of Texas where it's just kind of like they really want to escape a little bit. It's one, maybe two flights sometimes. And all of these islands will have major airports into the US, into usually Montreal or Toronto. And then I think Nassau is the only one will take you straight into Europe. So in general, our real estate market is majority residential sales, particularly when it comes to foreign home buyers. Most of them are coming for the beach or the canal. They're coming fishing. They're coming to just get into their house and going straight out to the beach. Nothing else in between. Or you will have the persons who are really wanting to get that revenue. So they're investing heavily. You can do either multifamily buildings, small boutique hotels, or even just a condo or a home that's in either in a community that has a rental share program, or you can have where persons will do it themselves. It's very common and very easy to manage an Airbnb from abroad. And the rental market is super strong and has always sustained different owners, whether local or foreign, over the years, even when we had like major economic downturns. And what we'll always see, if something's going on in the US, we're going to feel it about 2 years later. So 2008 crisis, we felt it originally when it came to just the tourists coming in and out. But when it really hit us was about 2010 to 2013, where we actually felt the repercussions of clients really realizing, okay, I might need to offload one of the beach houses. I might need to offload a condo just to make sure I stay afloat, don't want to go into insolvency. But the majority, fortunately, of our clients did not have huge repercussions. Most of them just ended up not traveling here as much, and they were able to make up that loss, what they felt at home, through rental income, which has always been great. And we do a lot of property management. Chevy is actually a licensed property manager now. I'm very proud of him. Because it's not a popular thing for agents to actually go through and do a separate property management license. So our clients will be very happy as well. Next, oh, perfect. Chevy's gonna take over now and speak on Nassau or New Providence, the major city, the big city.
Thank you for that, Kiara. Chevy, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Good. Okay, first of all, taking over from Kiara, thank you all again, everyone at the Caius groups. Denise, always a pleasure to see you and connect. And everybody else, all agents, brokers, and support staff. Good morning. So, yes, so I'm here based in the New Providence office. So, New Providence is the island, Nassau is actually the city. So, here in New Providence, for zoning purposes, we actually have two cities. We have Nassau, which is the main city, which encompasses most of the central part and the eastern part of the island. And on the farther western part of the island, we have Adelaide, right? Not much going on there. It is really just residences, but everything is overshadowed by Nassau. But I just thought for, geographical purposes, I should explain that. So again, most persons they would consider New Providence, or just when you hear the Bahamas, you would correlate it with Nassau. But New Providence is actually the island. Nassau is the city. So just to give you a better kind of understanding of what it is. But yeah, so New Providence is the hub in terms of everything that's going on in terms of banking, government, in most recent years, real estate. It is the smallest island in the country. We have about 16 inhabited islands. New Providence is the smallest, but it is the hub of everything that is going on, mainly because of location. The story is so back in the day, once the Bahamas was discovered, New Providence was perfectly situated because we were smack dab in the middle. So it was good not only in terms of being having access to all of the other islands, but also too because we're prone to hurricanes. So we are kind of sheltered smack dab in the middle. So it kind of helped with us not taking the brunt or the hit of storms. So that's why it was ideally selected to be the capital, obviously the smallest island. We can fit into Grand Bahama probably about 8 or 9 times. So, a lot of persons ask why, if it's the smallest island, why is it the mecca of everything? So that's kind of the reason why everything is here on New Providence. But getting right into it. So today we wanted to divulge and pick at least six of the most noteworthy developments happening here on New Providence. Kiara would have alluded to some of it. The first one being Albany. So Albany is a luxury community residential resort. It was the brainchild of British billionaire Joe Louis and the Tavistock Group, along with Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake, who are also partners in the development. So the Albany, it is a sprawl. I don't know if anyone has ever been down to the islands and experienced the Albany, but it feels like another planet, right? They have their own private access. They have right now about seven phases. They have the the layout, so they have models such as the Squire, the Coral, the Tetris. Kiara would have touched on the Honeycomb. That's probably the most famous one everyone relates it to. They also have single family lots as well, where you can come in, you can purchase and build your own home if you want to be away from everything else, if you want to be out of the mix with the condos and the villas and all of that other stuff. There's a full scale clinic. There are retail shopping centers, there are spas, there's a financial center. It's most famous for the Wall Street Bull. There's one right there, smack dab into the greenery. That's the financial center of the Albany. And then there's also Marina. The Marina probably is the most notable feature. The Marina boasts about 71 mega yacht slips. So a lot of persons, major yachters, they find the Albany more conducive as well because they can pull in on their yachts if they want to stay maybe 1 or 2 nights, or if they have a residence here, if they want to stay a bit longer, they have the option of having actually a brick and mortar accommodation as well. And then obviously for the uber rich, they get that exclusivity. They're away from everything. If you go to Albany, you'll find a lot of sports stars and music entities as well as politicians, that kind of degree of clientele. So with that kind of status comes extra added privacy. So a lot of them like the Albany Resort because it produces and it adds this value to them. There's also a full-scale music studio as well. Okay. Taylor Swift would have actually created her last album here at the Albany studio. So, there's a lot to do at the Albany. Median prices start at about 10 million. Obviously, the prices would reflect. But yeah, it's become a hub in most recent years, and with that, the prices are going up, and the demand is there. Most notably, too, I would like to mention we all know about the whole FTX story, Sam Bankman-Fried, and what went down there. Albany was actually their hub, right? They would have actually had about 7 or 8 units in the Honeycomb. In that unit, they would have done some other business in the Albany as well. So Albany was where they were kind of headquartered. So that's the story as well with that. I know I've seen it a few times in the media. Where when they were talking about the assets, the Albany was mentioned a few times. So again, it has notaries for some good reasons, not so good reasons. Like they say, any press sometimes is not bad press. Press is press. But yes, that's the Albany. One of my favorite places, like I said, here on the island, and it gives you a different perspective on what things can be once you have the right amount of capital and the right amount of vision. And then moving right along, there's the Aquilina. The Aquilina is located also on Western New Providence. This is the Cable Beach Strip. So the Cable Beach Strip is where the Bahama is. The Bahama is a luxury resort. So this is where the Aquilina is situated. Unlike the Albany Resort, the Aquilina is a bit more quaint, a bit more intimate and exclusive. So there are two towers. The first tower is complete. So, and now keep in mind, all of these development are on the coast. They all have beach access, right? So that's also another big sell point. But the Aquilina is a two-tower development. The first tower on the left, it has already been completed. Median prices start at 3 million. They are a boutique portfolio of 3 and 4 bedroom residences, all with city views and ocean views. And there are two penthouses. The penthouses are at the top floor and they can run you into about a cool $12 million. The second phase is about 80% complete. They're just putting on the last two floors and then the top floor with the penthouse, and then they will be unveiled and ready to go. So again, there's something for everyone. If you're looking for again that savvy, that uber luxury kind of feel, you have the Albany. If you're looking more so for that more relaxed, still more intimate, not so all of that crowd, then you have the Aquilina. Okay, very important point. The Albany, they do allow long-term rentals, not short-term rentals. The Aquilina, they also allow long-term rentals. So what we're going to find as well, most of these developments, they would allow long-term rentals. There is about two in particular, not on the list, but I'm going to touch on those as well, that provide short-term rentals, because a big question we always get, we're looking for something that provides short-term rentals, whether, it's a couple of weeks of the year or Airbnb such and such. In recent times, most developments have strayed away from that Airbnb, that short-term rental, and more so have adopted that long-term rental, that 90-day, that 120-day and beyond. So that's also a good point to mention as well in terms of the rental flexibility. Next, we have the Goldwyn. So the Goldwyn is a unique property. It is actually part hotel resort, part condos ownership, right? It is also situated on Cable Beach, so it's about driving distance about 6 minutes away from Aquilina. So it is one of the newest developments. The resort and the condos have been open now, going on about 4 years. So very, very new development, a bit more cozy as well. It has that full hotel feel from you walking the doors. There's a big shopping court. There are about 6 or 7 restaurants. You have live entertainment and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in something like that, where you can just be at a still have that resort feel, little family feel, but not having the hustle and bustle of a full-on resort with a water park and all of that stuff, Goldwyn is a good option as well. This property has about now in counting, they have about 81 units in total. They also have coming on stream right next door the penthouses at Goldwyn. So there are going to be 40 units. They have already broken ground. They're about 40% complete. That project is expected to be done within the late fall of this year. So they're going to have the resort, the condos, as well as the penthouses. Now, those penthouse units starts anywhere now from $4 to $5 million. And obviously now it'll be scaled as you go high. So the higher up you go, if you're on the top floor, then the prices go up. But from floor one to the top floor, everything is a penthouse unit. It's actually the first of its kind here too on island and in country, a building where you just have full-on penthouses. In the add back to the Goldwyn, so a standard condo will run you anywhere to about 2.5 to 3 million. Now there's been a kind of pick up and resale. Persons are selling a lot of the condos off, I guess, after they've already experienced the Goldwyn or whatever have you. They're selling them. So if you can get something on resale, you're still going to run into maybe about on the low end, 900K to $1 million. But that is the Goldwyn. So, like I said, the most unique thing about it is we have a lot of these developments here on New Providence or on Island, but each one of them has their own personality, has their own takes, right? So you're not getting the same thing everywhere you go. It's all personalized to whatever your conveniences may be or whatever you may be looking for in terms of personal preference or investment preference.
Hey, Chevy.
Yes.
I was going to point out very quickly a difference in the markets too. Nassau or New Providence overall, you guys will see that, as he mentioned, Goldwyn, even though this is a project that is probably just completed within the last like 2 years, persons will literally buy in Nassau, use it and experience it for like
Yeah.
9 months, a year and a half, and then sell it off. They're going to come in, enjoy it, and then they're going to ride that property value because their values change much faster in the capital than ours do on the outer islands. So it's very common. There's nothing wrong with Goldwyn. It's a beautiful property, but you will literally have persons who will buy it, hold it for 6 months, say, okay, I got everything that I wanted. I'm good. And they'll go, which is always interesting for us.
Yes, yes.
That's definitely interesting. And Chevy, if you don't mind me asking, we had a question come through in the chat. Do you mind if I ask it?
Yes.
Perfect. So it was, does real estate ownership fast track to Bahamian citizenship or passports?
Good question. So if you purchase it in the Bahamas, before it was a purchase of 750 and up, where it will get you a permanent residency and fast tracked, but now the value is gone and now it's 1.5. If you have a purchase of 1.5 or over, yes, you can. It is more enticing to be fast tracked into a permanent residency as well as citizenship. So pretty much the more you invest, it's more compelling. But that process goes through the BIA, the Bahamas Investment Authority. Once you purchase your property, if you're a first-time homeowner, then you will get what's called a certificate of registration. And then if you're purchasing a second property, then you will go through the permit phase. But yes, if you're purchasing anything within that 1.5 range and up, then you're in good standings. And the good thing about it too, once you're purchasing, you'll have to use a Bahamian attorney, and the attorneys are going to be the one to make all of those applications with your homeowners cards, your permanent residencies, citizenships, and everything of that sort to make sure that that process is seamless for you.
Hold on.
Fantastic.
Go
Sorry,
ahead,
not
Keith.
citizenship. They'll get residency, which allows you to come
Residency,
in and
yes.
out. It
Yes.
allows you to come in and out as we would as citizens, but it won't give you an actual passport, unfortunately. But you do
Right.
get all the economic benefits of it.
Got it. Thank you. And then we had two other questions come through, if you're okay with that, Chevy.
Mhm.
All
Yes,
right. So
please.
the first one is what is the overall political situation?
So here in the Bahamas, we are a democracy. Our government is pretty stable. I mean, as anywhere in the world, right? We have, the government this, the government isn't doing that, such and such. But it's pretty clear. It is. We are a politically stable country. We have been for years. There's no unrest. There isn't any conflicts or anything's going on. We're a full democracy. So yes, the political climate here is good. We actually have elections coming up next year. So Bahamians and citizens are gearing up for that. But yeah, in terms of our political climate and stance, it's fine. It's fine. Like I
Got it.
said, all governments can always do a better job, right? But we're we're
Sure.
we're okay. We're okay.
Sure.
There's no need to be alarmed.
Okay, that's a great answer. Thank you. And then the last question I
Yes.
have for you is, do CARICOM member countries and its affiliates have any special benefits to owning Bahamas real estate?
To my knowledge, no, there isn't any special benefit with being a member of the Caribbean community or the CARICOM. Obviously, if you're coming in purchasing as a foreigner, it's the same rules apply in terms of purchasing real estate as compared to being a local or a citizen or purchasing as a foreigner or international. But no special perks for CARICOM. There's no $10 million discount.
Okay. Thank you, Chevy. So
You're welcome.
back
No
to you.
problem. So yes, so we're on to our last three major developments. So whilst I'm still in Western New Providence, I'm gonna skip Palm Key for now, and I'm on the Four Seasons, and I'm gonna jump into Old Fort Bay. So Old Fort Bay is also located on the western side of New Providence. This is closer to the Albany development, as well as the Lyford Key development. So Old Fort Bay is actually a gated community. So unlike Albany and Aquilina, where it's more so that kind of resort, kind of getaway feel, this is actually a community with actual residences. They have amenities like tennis courts. They have a country club or a members club, but that's about it. But yes, so Old Fort Bay is one of the old communities here in the Providence. They have single family lots. Here you'll find a lot of that old money, so to speak. So big investors who are in the Bahamas, generational wealth, things of that sort passed down. You would find a lot of them in this Old Fort Bay area, this Old Fort Bay community. I'm very familiar with this. Our office is actually here in this area, Old Fort Bay, New Providence. So I frequent this area every day. There's a lot of shopping, grocery stores, restaurants, entertainment. There is a mall coming on stream, Venetian Village. And then it's the close proximity to the airport. So you would find too why there are a lot of developments happening here on the western side of the island. That is where the airport is. It's close proximity to the airport, the medical facilities, and everything of that sort. So I find persons, especially international clients, that's one of their first questions. Chevy, closest it to the airport. So, persons like to have that ease of going in and out without the hassle, especially moving down to the island for the first time and not being as familiar. Persons like that, I guess it's the comfort knowing that, okay, we're close to the airport, we can just get to our destination selling in and all, settling in and all that stuff. And like I tell them, the island is small. We're 21 by 7, so no place is far, right? But until you can actually get here and experience it and feel it, these are general questions they have, which is fair. But yeah, so the old Fort Bay, a vacant land can run you into anywhere between $1 million and up, depending obviously on the parcel size. And then residences can run you anywhere between 2 million to $30 million. All right. So, it can get up there in the old Fort Bay. I remember a few years back there was a sale that was done in the old Fort Bay community, and the place sold for 61 million. So it can get up there. It can get up there. And again, the resale value in Old Fort Bay, it isn't very high. So when things tend to resell and turn over, obviously market value is a big thing to consider. And then we have the Palm Key. So Palm Key is located on the eastern side of New Providence. The road is actually called Yamacraw Beach Road. So this is the eastern side of New Providence. So in proximity to Old Fort Bay, it's probably about a 20-minute drive. So Palm Key is more so of your conventional community. So you have your single family homes, there are multi-family homes, there are condos, there are townhomes, there's a spa, there's a restaurant, they have your pickleball court, there's a tennis court, there's a basketball court. So it's more so of a conventional community, not that over the top, that high standard like Albany, but it's still comfortable and it's still a big sell point for persons who are coming in, getting settled. More so, they've been picking up in recent years because the price points too are more favorable, especially for the investor who is coming in just trying to get their feet wet, so to speak, and doesn't want to dive in maybe with $5, $6 million, and more so are compelled to spending anywhere north of 800, 900, or even within that $700,000 price range. So Palm Key is a great alternative. The big sell point for them too, they also have a marina, right? So persons with boats and other slips and things of that sort too, they come and they would also like the Palm Key because now you get the best of both worlds. You also have marina access where you can bring your boat, store your boat, and again still enjoy some of these cool amenities without having to pay on an arm and a leg, so to speak. So, like I said, the beautiful thing about it is there is something for everyone. And that's a big sell point. I like to express with clients. A lot of persons come in, all we see is, the Albany is or the Four Seasons or the Atlantis and everything is so expensive. But there is something for everyone. So I like to encourage persons to still come and inquire, and we can always find something that suits your needs and your budget. And then lastly, there's the Four Seasons residences. So this is located here on Paradise Island. It's still, to give you an idea of location, it's still on the eastern part of the island, but it's on Paradise Island. So Paradise Island is another island here in the chain of islands. It is connected to New Providence by a bridge, right? So technically we are connected, but there is a bridge that connects Paradise Island to New Providence. Paradise Island is the home of the Atlantis. That's where the Atlantis resort is. It takes up about 60% of the island. And obviously, with that resort being there, prices are sky high, right? But the Four Seasons Resort, it was owned by the Atlantis, the Kersner Group before they sold, but now it's owned by the Four Seasons Group, and they are now building a residences. So there's a hotel, they're called the Ocean Club, the Four Seasons Ocean Club. It is a very exclusive hotel. It is an all villa hotel. But now they've decided to branch off and actually build some residents. So here we have it. They are broken ground. They haven't started any major construction as yet. This project is expected to be completed within the fall of 2026. And it is also another Uber luxury development with median prices starting at $7 million. They're about to have anywhere between 65, 67 turnkey ocean residences. They're also going to have a few penthouses as well, and those will be starting at 14 million. So there are still renditions and things that are being drafted. There is a package so that they have. Again, because they haven't broken ground, there's just renditions for now. And again, I'll be more than happy once we're done with this forum to attach all of these developments with links and brochures and anything of that stuff if you want to know more about them. And we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have any questions your clients may have, our doors are open for referrals. And yes, so these are just a tip of the iceberg on what's going on here in New Providence. Like I said, we also have Grand Bahama and the other islands where our booming and developments are happening on those as well. So, there's a lot of activity going on down here in the Bahamas. So again, we're happy to be a part of this network, and I'm looking forward to doing business and answering any questions or referrals anyone may have. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely, Chevy. That was fantastic. And I think we're all ready to get on a plane right now and head down to the Bahamas. There's no question about that. We had a few questions come through, if you don't mind me asking them. Someone did say, and I
Yes.
love this, they said, hey, we should try to set up a private tour for Kai's agents down there in the Bahamas with you guys. So I like the way they're thinking. But the first question that came through is, are there any restrictions to purchase with things such as age, income, etc.?
So there's no purchase restrictions if you're purchasing with cash. And then obviously the only things that'll be obviously proof of funds, KYC, and all of that. Now, if you're going through bank in terms of financing, then age may be a question there in terms of how old you are, incomes, any debts, any things of that sort. So obviously, if you're going the bank finance route or the mortgaging route, that's going to be things the bank may want to know for their initial pre-approvals and things of that sort. But if you're purchasing cash, again, it's just the standard arm's length, proof of funds, KYCs, all of that stuff. But in terms of age or income and none of that stuff, no, there's no discrimination. We can find something for everyone, obviously, if it's reasonable. There are
Great.
no parcels for a dollar.
Nothing's for sale for a
But
dollar right
yes,
now. So
yes. But there
check
there's
back in.
no restrictions or any. And yes, that's a good question. The BSD is on par with the USD. So, that builds a lot of confidence for persons as well. You don't have that currency conversion and having to figure all of that stuff out.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And then another question, this was more so about the lifestyle of someone who's living there and investing there is, what about general services such as grocery stores, banks, shopping areas that are not like big touristy attractions? They're more so kind of local access if you were to invest in one of these areas. Could you shed some light upon that?
Yes, that's a good question. So whether you invest east or west, there are a plateau of banking services, medical services. So we have two main hospitals here in New Providence. There is the Princess Margaret Hospital, PMH. There's also the Doctors Hospital. So those are centrally located. Grocery stores are in the east and the west. So is banking. So is shopping. So, in all districts of the island, you can find these things for convenience purposes. And obviously, you don't want to have to be driving from east to west just to get a carton of milk or to go to the ATM or whatever other conveniences have you. Also, in some of these communities, like the Albany or the Four Seasons or the Old Fort Bay, there are small kiosks and other little vendorships as well where you can get cash or they have their own little small convenience stores or purveyor store. So yes, there's definitely access and ease and convenience in all locations. So there isn't one or two ATMs or where is always flustered. Yeah, that's a simple solution. There's definitely an abundance of those things.
That's a great answer. Thank you for that. We had another question come through about 55 plus communities. Are there any 55 plus communities that you would highlight or kind of recommend for someone to look into, Chevy?
So there isn't any particulars per se that is exclusively advertised, at 55 plus. But here from this list, the Old Fort Bay is a good community. Like I said, those are more of the settled crowd, persons who are retired, just looking to kick back and enjoy life or on the water or just, enjoy the little things. Um, there's the Old Fort Bay. There's also Lyford Key. So Lyford Key is a great community as well for that more settled, more kind of relaxed feel. Palm Key is also a good one too because, like I said, it's more of that conventional community. It isn't that resort party. Everything so much is going on. So yeah, options like that will be a great fit for someone who is just looking more so to just be relaxed and at peace and settle and still have all the conveniences without every time you step out of your door, it's like you're in a Hollywood film.
That's a good answer again,
I,
Chevy.
I, I like that comment, settled crowd.
Yeah, settled
Yes,
crowd. I
yes,
heard that too.
yes, yes, settle.
It's almost like saying
Settle.
seasoned. I like it. I like it. We had another
Yes.
question that just came through. Are there any ferry services that go between the islands?
So there is a main ferry is called the Bahamas Fast Ferries. So it goes from New Providence, there's a route to the Exumas, to the Luthers, things of that sort. We also have mail boats. So they're like cargo ship that carry goods, but more they also have like small lodgings for persons trying to get to other islands. But I would suggest the fast ferries, the mail boats and the cargo ships.
Do not
There
take the
aren't
mailboat.
cruise ships. They're more so just, hey, I just need some place to go. But yeah, there's the Bahamas fast ferries. Key, you can speak to. I think there's one in Grand Bahamas called the Balearia that's still running.
Yeah, yes.
Right, but that
By the
goes to
way, don't take the mailboat.
Florida, I think.
Yeah, so the Valeria goes actually from Freeport to West Palm Beach.
Oh
Um,
wow.
Wow.
yeah, if you have the patience, go for it. It's a quick boat, but it's the boat that they don't care how bad that weather is, they are going. So you won't miss.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a commercial line and everything. A lot of people ship over groceries, furnitures, things like that, on those different boats. Um, when you were mentioning the mailboat, I almost passed out. The mailboat is the one that if you're, let's say you're down the Exumas or something like that, and you need to get your car down there, or if you're moving between islands, it's the bigger, much larger barge.
Right.
And then for most people inter-island travel, they'll take a flight
Hmm.
over just the ferry. So you'll have Western Air, or Chevy's favorite airline, Bahamas Air, who's never on time. Uh, in typical Bahamian fashion, is always late. Chef our office party, taking Bahamas Air. Um, but yeah, so
Yeah,
quick question.
and then we
Yeah.
also have in most recent times a lot of our international airline partners as well. I know American Airline has
Mm,
now started running some routes to the islands. Caribbean Airlines. So, a
okay.
lot of these international airlines are slowly trying to get on board. And a lot of our smaller islands for a long time, the airports have been under development, but now they're now slowly getting these airports up and running. So now these larger aircraft would be able to safely get down and get to and fro the islands as well. So I'm guessing as more of the islands and the airports develop, we're going to be seeing a lot more of air travel as well.
Mm, that's a great note. Great note. Really appreciate that. Awesome. So we've had a lot of great information covered today. And as we said, at 11:01, we're all now going to board a plane down to Bahamas. We won't take Bahama Air if it's going to make us late, but we'll make sure to get down there because it really is so gorgeous. And I absolutely love it. And I think everybody watching this live or watching the recording is seeing how passionate you all are about the Bahamas and about these islands. And it's not just a tourist destination, but there's so much culture, there's so much life, there's so much energy, there's, relaxing areas, there's the, resort scene if you want that, there's the beach, but it sounds like everything and more. And it really is great to hear how seamless you all make it. And that transactional process is more of a relationship. And I think for anybody, again, watching this or listening after, if you have any questions for the team, make sure to reach out to Denise Talboy on our team and she'll seamlessly connect you with them because they're absolutely the experts. And I have one final tough question for you guys, but I want to make sure, Denise, before I ask my final question, is there anything that you wanted to add or ask?
I'm afraid to ask, see what that question is. No, I'm good to go. I mean, it was a great presentation. I love our friends at Keys Bahamas Realty, and no, shoot, Stephen.
All right, all right. Here's my final question. What would be the one meal that everybody would have to eat when they go to the Bahamas that is local? It's not a touristy thing. It's like, oh, you've got to try this, and that's the flavor of the Bahamas. That's my question of the day for you guys.
Tongue salad.
Yeah, yeah, you
Ah,
read
Tongue
my mind.
salad and a sans beer.
okay.
Yeah.
And a kraken.
Yes. Crack
That's a
There
on.
tough
you go.
one.
I love
Crack
it.
on surprise.
I
No.
love it. So my last real kind of thing for you guys in closing is if you were to leave everybody watching this live or the recording with one kind of final golden nugget to think
Mhm.
about when they think about the Bahamas, what would that be?
Chef, you want to go first or me?
I can go. I would say think about, and as cliche as it may sound, think about the land of opportunity. There's been a lot of development in recent years, and I have a lot of people telling me, "Oh, it's become so Americanized,
Mm,
right? They've coined that phrase. But I take it as a good thing, meaning that the development is here. We've gotten the resources here. A lot of developers and investors are coming. They're building. They're creating these wonderful communities and these other avenues. So obviously, there's something here that wants them to come and invest their monies and, just make this another pivotal point. So, like I said, there's something here for everyone. I would encourage all questions. The person's looking said, "Oh, it's too expensive," or "I can't afford that," this and that. But there's something for everyone. I think once you can ask the questions, it's our job as the professionals to help you find what you're looking for, right? So, like I said, we're close in proximities to the US. We have access to other areas and places in the world. The weather is great. So yes, I would encourage anybody to don't be afraid to reach out. We're here to help you. Any questions you may have, even if it's not real estate related, just to answer any questions or answer any curiosities you may have about the Bahamas. It's home. So, we take it very seriously, and anything we do in terms of clients and relations in general regarding to the Bahamas, we have a sense of duty and pride.
love that. Kiara, anything in closing you guys would like to say over there?
Sorry, I'm always looking at Chevy like a proud parent because I remember getting into real estate. So that's why you see me laughing and smiling the whole time,
I love it.
as well as
He
the
done
little
good.
hijacking
He
he
done
did.
Thank you,
good.
Keith.
What I will say when it comes to real estate in the Bahamas and in general, um, even though we highlighted some of the more luxury and Chevy spoke about NASA the whole time, you have options at every price point. Like for example, Grand Bahama, you can get on the waterfront in a condo at 150,000, two hundred
Oh wow.
thousand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Yep.
You have development opportunities that you can get involved in, buy with friends. You can get a house on the canal in Grand Bahama at 500. You can do something beachfront at 700.
Wow.
It's very everyone friendly. Like every price point and every budget can be accommodated for. A lot of persons will think, okay, well, it's only out island or it's only super high end. There's something for everyone here. And because of the accessibility, like Chevy was saying, it's very convenient for persons to be here part-time. We have a lot of agents who actually buy over here too.
Oh, wow.
Um, just because they're like, hey, I worked my behind off. I won't curse. I worked my behind off for 5, 10 years. I want to actually try and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's accessible enough. And because they have the experience in real estate, they're managing their own properties themselves and using it back and forth, sending their own clients and friends down. There's something for everyone on any of these islands.
It's great. No, great. No, I think the accessibility, like you're saying, really opens things up because it's such a gorgeous island and the islands are so beautiful. And it's not, hey, you have to start off at 7 million in order to get in. It's you can still get a gorgeous piece of real estate and enjoy the same lifestyle for, like you said, $150,000 starting off. And it's great to know that. But as you guys can see and hear, you can feel the energy, you can feel the love and the good vibes per se from the team here at Keys Realty. And I think that's great because you guys care about what you do and it's so evident. You're not slugging through it. You're really excited. You're optimistic. You're so informative too, which is fantastic and just such top level professional. So if you guys all could join me in a nice round of applause for the team here, and thank you so much. And again, for any questions you have after this that we may not have been able to answer, reach out to Denise Talboy and her team, and they'll make sure to connect you with the Keys team as well. But until next time, thank you everybody. Kiara and the team, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, guys. The chat was
Pleasure.
blowing
Thank
up.
you.
They loved you guys.
Thank
They love the
you.
information. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks so
Have a
you.
great
much.
week,
Thank
guys.
you.